Hey, what's going on? LinkedIn, YouTube. Once again, this is Antoine Matthews with another episode of Learn How to Hack. So today we're going to be going through Tomcat or Tom Ghost, I'm sorry, for TryHackMe. Y'all know this is one of my favorite sites. So we're going to go through this. It's more of a CTF style. It's not a walkthrough, so you actually going to have to put some of those skills to use and, use some of your abilities, put your thinking caps on. If you got an LA hat, put your LA cap on. And let's get it going. I apologize for not having this already set up with the IP address or the machine loaded. Typically I do, but I did save it some time on the Nmap scan. You know that I don't like waiting for my Nmap scans. I like them to be fast and precise. So I did this prior to us actually starting this. So I'm gonna go ahead and push this. This is from the last time I ran it. But as you can see, we got a few ports open here, right? So we got port 22 for SSH, which we're going to be able to use later. So let's remember that. Once again, if you're taking notes, you need to be taking notes. So what I would do is copy all of this, or at least the ports and the services, so that you can know what's open when you move further down your, down the methodology. When you're doing your exploitation, you might need to do further enumeration, or you might find out that, okay, cool, there's actually an exploit here, a vulnerability that I'd be able to compromise. All right, cool. So then we also have port 53, 8009. This looks interesting. And there's a web server on port 8080. And, it's a Tomcat. This is the version right here. So all of this stuff is really important. So once again, make sure you're taking notes. Note we have port 22, 53, 8009, and 8080. And then also the services. Because once again, these are going to play a major role in us exploiting this box and getting those flags that we need, okay? So let's go back and see if we have our IP address. So the IP address loaded up. Let's go ahead and copy this. We know that it's a web server, so what we're going to do is toss this inside of our browser, do a backspace. And remember, this is on port 8080. So let's go ahead and put port 8080. If it loads up, it looks like it's going to take some time. Yeah, we got the right thing. Okay, cool. So this is our web page, and it's just an Apache server. It's nothing on here that, we can really go through. We could definitely look this up, and see if there's any exploits. So let's just go and copy this. Put this into our browser. As I used to say in the military, we're going to ask Master Chief Google, and then let's just put exploit. But I'm going to save you some time. So look, it actually popped up right here, Ghost Cat. And it says Metasploit, which is really good, right? Because if it says Metasploit, this means that this is actually an exploit that's inside of the Metasploit framework, which is cool because we don't have to download this. We can actually just load up our Metasploit and figure out what we need to do, right? So once again, remember I said earlier, you want to make sure you take notes of these services that we have going. Not just the port numbers, but the actual services that are running on it. So look, I want to highlight this right here. We got an Apache JServe. Then we also got the Apache Tomcat 9.0.30. We're going to go back into this exploit and let's just kind of browse through here and see what we see. So boom, boom, boom. Let's go through here. I don't want to read the whole thing. We all went to English class. We know how to parse through information. So look right here. This is 31, but it's also for 30. So we should be good to go to use this exploit. I'm going to show you how to actually pull this information up on Metasploit so you can see it also, okay? So look, this is a legit exploit. What we want to do is access it through Metasploit because they make things easy. They make it efficient. So let's go and load up MSF console. We're gonna put Q. Actually, I always put Q. Let me see. I'm gonna show y'all the cool pictures that pop up. Let's see if they have an image or some kind of something cool. When I first loaded up Metasploit for the first time, I thought I was officially real because I put it in and look, you get a little something. If you put in MSF console again, it'll be a different picture. It's not the same one all the time, but it's just something cool. And I'm not about to break this down. If you use a tool before, you know what it is. So let's do search. And we want to search for this exploit. And we're just going to put Ghost Cat. So let's go ahead and open up Metasploit again. Ghost Cat. And it pops up right here. So y'all know the deal. Let's go and put use 0 options. And it's going to tell us, oh, let me spell it right. I forgot my S. Options. And it's going to tell us. So look, this is really corresponding with those ports and services that we saw open, right? So we had 8009 and it had Apache JServe protocol. Let's go back. I'm just doing this so I can verify for you. 8009 Apache JServe protocol. That looks accurate, right? Then once again, let's look at port 8080. That's the one that we're on, port 8080. And they have that indicated right here. And it's going to tell you this is a Tomcat web server port. And that's the port that we use for our Tomcat web server that we're trying to get to. So what we have to do at this point is let's go ahead and set our R host. Actually, I want to show you the same information that was on this page, right? So if at any point you find an exploit or a module on Metasploit and you're not sure what it is and you want to get more information on it, type in info. So watch this, INFO. You know how to spell info. Look, and it's the same exact information right here. And look, it even lets you know JServe protocol, same thing we just went through, right? It's literally the same piece of text. They just put it inside of Metasploit to make it easier for you. So once again, let's get back to our task and let's set our R host. And I did not save the IP address. Let's go back to here. Copy the IP. And then let's go ahead and paste it. Looks like it's too many spaces, and it is. And at this point, we're going to put options again, just so we can confirm we put all the information that we needed in here. So it looks like we're set. So we can push run. I usually like to push run, but right now we're feeling real hackers. So we're going to put exploit. We're going to tell it we need to exploit it. So let's see what it did here. So first, you can see a code 200. So it went through, it worked. You see some information right here at the top. You can scroll down. And before I point this out, do you see anything that looks useful or anything that stands out to you on this page or out of this report that came back? So if you didn't already, check out this description. It says, welcome to Ghost Cat. I'm not going to say this. For the rest of this walkthrough, we're going to just say Sky whenever this pops up, okay? So we got Sky, semicolon, or colon. And it looks like some credentials right here. So what we want to do is capture this information. Remember, always taking notes, always taking notes. So I'm going to actually copy this out. Drop this into my mouse pad. And I'm just using mouse pad because it's the easiest thing on here right now. I don't really have too many note-taking devices or apps on my Linux, just because Linux always has some kind of issue. I usually use Joplin, but we're going to stick with mouse pad right now. So we got these credentials. Now we got them in our notes. So we can actually exit out of this. And we can scroll back up to the top. And remember, I told you in our notes, we have to use all these services, right? So we can see that it's SSH or SSH server open on port 22. Let's see if we can actually log into that using those credentials that we just found or seeing if they're even credible, right? So in order for us to connect to SSH, we're going to type in SSH. Then we're going to type in sky at, we'll import an IP address again. And then we're going to get rid of the space. We want to make sure everything is where it should be. So SSH, the user at this IP address. That's what that's saying. Then we're going to hit enter. It should ask us for a password. So we're going to say yes. We're cool with that. And now we have our password we have to enter in, correct? So let me go back to our notes. Pull the password. It's a long password, people. So make sure that you put this in your notes unless you got some crazy memory. Oh, hold on. I done erased it out of the wrong thing. All right. Let me make sure I'm back in my terminal and then push paste. Cool. So look, did you see that? The credentials work. So now we're actually logged in to this terminal at Sky. So now we're on Sky's machine. So let's verify that. So we're going to type in who am I? I'm going to type in ID to get a little additional information. Remember, always enumerating. Then the other thing I always do is PWD so I can know exactly where I'm at, like what directory am I at. So now that we're on Sky's machine, let's kind of look around. So let's do LSLA so we can see what's in his folder or her folder. And I'm moving something out the way. Boom. So we see that we have a PGP file. So this is, it says credential, which is encrypted. That's what PGP, pretty good privacy. So whatever this credential file is, they encrypt it with PGP. This TryHackMe.asc, this is a key. And I'm gonna actually open this file up so you can see it, but this is a key. It's potentially the key or private key for this encrypted file. So we need to figure out how to convert this or brute force it so we can figure out what that key is. So then we can use that key to decrypt our credentials file. I know that's a lot, but we're gonna walk through it and you're gonna understand what I'm talking about as we move through this, okay? So first, as promised, let me show you what the TryHackMe.asc looks like. See, this is a private key. PGP private key block. So with that in mind, we can't use this right now because it's private. So we need to brute force this and crack it so that it's not private anymore. So it's public. So we know what it is. Because if we know what it is, then we can use that key or at that point, that cracked key and use it to decipher or decrypt. Yeah, decrypt is the proper word. Our credentials file. So first thing I want to do is pull these off of this machine. So we got a few ways we can do this, but what we're going to do is secure copy. So we're going to do sudo scp sky at, let's run back and get our IP address again. Got some champions for rocking with me through these, going back to between all these pages. So once again, this is just like you copying a regular file. So imagine secure copy the same way you would put like CP, like regular copy or MV for move, you know, except right now we're connecting to this specific machine. So that's why it looks like this. So now let's put our colon. Let's go back on the machine so we can see exactly where those files are located so we can get the path because we're going to put the path right here, okay? Let's go back. And once again, we'll put PWD so we don't have to scroll up. It'll just tell us. So this is the path that we're at. So we want to copy everything that's in this directory, in the Sky's directory. We want to copy everything. So what we're going to do is go back into our terminal. We're going to put /home sky the asterisk. The asterisk means that you want everything that's inside of Sky's directory. We want all of it. So that way you don't have to put the individual file names. You could just put star and it'll capture everything for you. The last thing we want to do is put a dot. And a dot just means copy this information at the specific location that I'm at on my machine. So let's go and push enter. You'll ask for sudo's password because I'm not root user on here. We're going to put yes. The last thing it's going to ask is for Sky's password. But we got that, remember? That's what we've been using this whole time. So let's go ahead and grab this credential and paste it. And as you can see, it copied over. So you can see the two files, right? You see credential. This is our encrypted file. And this is our private key, the TryHackMe. And 100%, 100%. So let's just list this out so we can see if it actually came through. So look, we got our TryHackMe and we got our credentials. Now we good to go. But we didn't finish enumerating the machine that we're on. We just grabbed those files because we knew we could possibly need them in the future. And these are also notes that I would put. So if we were taking notes, like I hope you are, we will put, when we went to this directory, we found these two files. That way you know where you found them in your notes. Because when we're done with a real penetration test, you want to put a report together. You want to let people know where you were able to get the information that you're presenting to them. And also, you should possibly take a screenshot so that you can show proof. Like, this is where I was at. You know, there's no guesswork. People know that you're honest and you can track your progress. That way, if you need to go back and look at your steps, you also know what you did and, you know, why you did it. You can put, you know, your own side notes and annotations. So now let's back out of here because it looks like we got everything we need. So we'll go put ls. So now we also see another user in here. So this is another user, Merlin. And it looks like it's a directory. So let's go ahead and cd into Merlin. We'll give him the same treatment. ls la. I know y'all love that LA. And look, oh, look, we came across something useful. So check this out. Now we have another file, user.txt. So let's go ahead and open this up. And look, right here, we have read permissions. So we should have no issues opening this up. So we can put cat user.txt. Awesome. So look, we have our first flag here. So we can go and copy this, put it in your notes. And remember, copy this also so you know where you got it from. But now we got the first flag. Let's go back into TryHackMe and let's scroll down and see if we got it. So look, we got it right here. Same exact thing. Ghost cat is so crazy. Cool. So what's our next objective? Escalate privilege and obtain root txt. So we got two things we got to do here. First, we got to figure out how we can escalate our privileges. Because right now we're just, we're going to go back into the machine. And I'm going to show you that we can't access the root folder. So that's going to kind of hint to you. We probably need to figure out a way to get our privileges escalated so we can get inside of that folder to grab the root.txt. So let's go back into the terminal and see where we left off at. So right here, we got Merlin stuff. So let's go and back out. And then let's back out again. Or CD, not CS. Okay, awesome. So now we did ls. And you can see that there's a root directory in here. So look, first, let me list it out. I got in a good habit of doing that. So look, and we can't do anything here. If you don't understand this, this is delete, read, write, execute. Root user can do everything. This flat line means that any other group, any other person that's not the root user doesn't have permissions. And I'm going to show you that right now. So let's go cd root, permission denied. We don't have access to it. So let's go back and play with these files that we just found here. So I'm going to just ls it out so we can just see them. Okay, cool. So The first thing that we have to do here, because we know that this credentials file is protected, it's encrypted. We can't do anything with it. If we open it up, it's going to look like it's not human readable. So we know that this is readable, and we also know this is a private key. So a way that we could turn this into a way that we could actually break it is by using John the Ripper. So that's what we're going to do. And John the Ripper has a cool feature called GPG to John. And it'll turn this file into a format that John the Ripper can use to crack it. Because, right now we can't do anything with that long file that we saw once we open it up. But now, once we use John, it's going to convert it so that we could get the information that we need. So let's go and push enter. Actually, no, let's not push enter. We're going to do this, and we're going to turn this into, we're going to type key. So what we're telling it to do is saying, hey, look, John, turn TryHackMe, this private key, into a format that you can crack. And when you do the output, I want it to be called key, because that's going to have the hash inside of it. So let's go and push enter. And we can see that the file, it did its thing. So now let's see if that key file is here. You see how we have key? Well, let's go and read it. See what John the Ripper just did is they turned that long string, and let's actually go back and see if it's still open in this one. John the Ripper turned all this alphanumerics, special code, all these characters, this private key, into a hash that John the Ripper can crack, because this is the language that it speaks, that and it's going to help us out. So let's go ahead, and now the next step is to actually crack the hash using John. So we're going to use John. We're going to type in key, and now we got to put a word list. Kali Linux comes with rocku.txt. It should be in the same place for everybody unless you moved it. So we're going to use that. So we're going to do -- word list equals, put user or USR, share, word list, rocku.txt. So we're going to push enter. And it said, look, 1Password loaded. I loaded 1Password hash. So in order for us to see what the password was, we just type in John key -- show. Once we do this, it should show us the password that it cracked. And as you can see, TryHackMe, and this is the password. So this is the password that we had been looking for. We got it. This is cool. So now we got our passphrase. So let's go ahead and once again copy this into our notes. So I'm going to go right here, paste this out. Now, the next part of this whole scenario is now we have to import this passphrase. Now that we got it, we got to import it into GPG. So we're going to put GPG -- import. So we're going to import the private key. Now, look, it's asking us for the passphrase, right? But we know the passphrase because we just got it, or the password. So let's go ahead and push. Oh, hold on. Is it going to show me this when I do it, or is it going to do this? Oh, there we go. So now let's go and push OK. So look, we good. So that means that we have the right passphrase. So now we golden. So now that that's imported, we can use that same command, GPG, and put decrypt or -- decrypt. And we want to decrypt the credential file. And then just push enter. Now, once again, it's going to ask us for our passphrase. We know what it is. It's the same one from right here that we cracked. So let's go ahead and I'm put show password. Oh, and it says save password. But look, let's go ahead and just put that in here and push OK. So boom. So look, now we use that passphrase that we cracked using John the Ripper to decrypt the credentials file. Decrypt. Now it's opened up. Now we can read it. It's not the gobbledygook. We can read the text inside the file. So look, it just told us what it is. This is the contents of the file. And these look like credentials to me, right? What do they look like credentials to you? So you can remember we had a user named Merlin. Merlin is right here. So we got Merlin's name and we know that that's him. And these are probably his credentials. And this is super long. So once again, let's copy this out so we can put it in our notes because we definitely gonna have to use this. Man, we're doing a good job, people. We're moving through this box. I hope it's at a pace to where everybody can understand it. I know sometimes I get repetitive, but it's just to make sure that we actually understand what we're doing and not just putting in commands and you're following along with me. But I want to make sure we both get a good understanding of the process, okay? So now that we have our username and password, let's go ahead and SSH back into the machine, but now we're going to use Merlin's credentials. So let's hop back in here. Let's get the IP address. Let's paste that. And just like last time, we're going to push enter. It's going to ask us for Merlin's password, the long password that we just got. So once again, I hope that you took some notes, or if you needed to, you can copy it from right here. If you're following along with me, it should be in the same place. And then we'll go ahead and paste that. Push enter. Oh, hold on. Did I not copy the right one? Let me try this again. So let's copy that. Let's move down to our location. Push paste. Awesome. So let me push enter a few times. So as you can see, look, now we got access to Merlin. So look, we just, do you understand what we just did? Like, this is cool. So I want y'all to celebrate a little bit right now. So first, we found the exploit to get the Tomcat exploit or Ghost Cat, right? So that gave us access to the machine because we found Sky's credentials. After we did that, we found the encrypted file and the private key. Then we cracked the private key. Use that to decrypt the file. Now we found Merlin's credentials and we're on as 2 users. We compromised 2 users. So in your report, if an organization hires you to do something like this, now you got 2 people you can say that you're able to compromise. You pivoted from one person to the next person. Good job. So now let's see what we have access to with Merlin. But we know that he can't do the root file, right? And that's our goal right here. So our next logical step is to do privilege escalation. So let's go ahead and I showed you this guys before. So we'll do sudo tac L. And you can see right here, if you know how to read this, so it means root, no password, and then for the zip binary. So I want to show you what happens if we try this same command, sudo L with Sky. So let's go back. Sky should be still logged in. Sudo tac L. And then we're going to enter the password for Sky. First off, you notice when we did this command sudo tac L with Merlin, it didn't even ask us to enter a password. Now look, it says, sorry, user Sky may not run sudo on Ubuntu. So Sky didn't even have privileges to figure out what could be ran as sudo or as root. So let's go back into Merlin, and this is going to be the final step of this process. So we understand that root runs with no password on a zip binary. So now we're going to hop into our browser, and we're going to go to GTFO bins, GT fobbins, as I call it. So let's go ahead and click that link. So we go to the page. So remember, it said binary. So the binary we need is zip. We need to get zip. And we want to get sudo privileges because that's root. So once we clicked on here, it'll let us know for sudo. You can read through this if you want, but essentially it's going to tell you if you enter this command into the terminal, then it'll be able to grant you sudo privileges. So this is how we're going to do our privilege escalation. So I'm going to copy this. Let's hop back into the terminal. And now we just want to paste the full command. We don't want to change anything. Don't put any special characters. Literally just copy and paste. Now we're going to see what happens once we push enter, okay? So, oh, looks like something happened. So did you notice anything? What happened to our Merlin at Ubuntu? Now we just have this hash mark. What happened? I think that we just escalated our privileges. That's what I think. If you ask Antoine, I think that we just escalated our privileges. I'm not saying I know what's going on, but I'm just saying what I think happened. So let's verify, right? Trust, but verify. So when do the same command, who am I? Root, ID, root across the board. So without us having to go back and actually see the privileges of the root folder, we know that root was the only person that had permissions to access it. So at this point, we can assume that we could cat the root directory and get root.txt. And that's exactly what we just did. So as you can see, this is the last flag that was located inside of the root.txt file. So that's cool. Let's go back into our TryHackMe and see if we actually did this correctly. So bam. So man, congratulations. We did it. We went through another box. Are you excited? Are we learning new stuff? And this is cool because I kind of stepped away from the walkthroughs and now we've been doing more kind of CTF stuff, so you can actually get more of an experience to see if you can figure these things out without being so much handheld or having somebody feed the information to you. So we've been doing a great job. I want to say everybody keep it up. If you have any questions about what we did today, start the conversation down below. That's the best way for us to share our information and get more knowledge and have a grasp and a really clear understanding of these concepts, because the more you do it, the more you talk about it, the more it sinks in. And that's always a good thing, right? So once again, what we did today, we found the GhostCat exploit on ExploitDB, realized that we could use the same exploit inside of Metasploit. We put the commands in that we needed. We found Sky, the first user. We found their credentials. We were able to get our first flag, user.txt, out of Merlin's directory. Then we actually pulled the private key and the encrypted file that was protected with PGP, pretty good privacy. And we cracked the private key or brute forced it using John the Ripper. We use that passphrase to then decrypt our encrypted credentials file protected by PGP. Then we were able to use that to get Merlin's, our second user. So we compromised 2 users on this machine. I'm getting excited already. So we compromised 2 users. We got Merlin's username and credentials logged into the SSH. Then we used our favorite command, sudo tac-l, so we can see what was being ran on the machine with user privileges that didn't need a password, and realized that it was the zip binary. We went over to GTO or GTFO bins. I was trying to keep it correct because, I say GT5 bins. And we found the command that we needed to put in to escalate our privileges. And once we did that, hey, we won the machine. We got root. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was a good time. I hope it was very clear. for you to understand the concepts and the things that we did. Once again, if you like this video, share it, tell your friends, smash the like, subscribe. I got more content coming out. I'm gonna break this video down into smaller sections so that it'll be specifically, well, what I want to do is break it down so you can understand that breaking or brute forcing the private key and then using that to decrypt a file, because I think a lot of people might be mistaken on how that works and might not really understand the concept. So we're going to keep it really nice and concise for you. But hey, this is Antoine Matthews. You can find me on LinkedIn at Antoine Matthews. You can find me on YouTube at Antoine Matthews. Once again, I really hope you enjoyed this. Be interactive, be a contributor, share your knowledge. That's how we all get better, right? In the meantime, you guys enjoy your day. You ladies enjoy your day, and I'll talk soon.